This week on Wham Bam Dashcam, we've got 20 fresh reasons why you need a dashcam. Every video you're about to see was sent directly to us by the people who captured them, so hold on to your hats. This submitter was driving down a Florida highway with a speed limit of 65 miles per hour. When traffic slowed down to about 55, the driver of the pickup ahead of him didn't notice until it was too late. Even though the pickup driver tried to swerve around the red Nissan, it rear-ended the corner before continuing down the road. Out of the view of our submitter's dashcam, the red car then sideswiped a black SUV. All three drivers involved pulled over to exchange information. Our submitter called 911 before quickly uploading his dashcam footage so he could provide the link to the police and the involved drivers. And to us, of course. When an oversized tow truck turned through an intersection, the driver ahead of our next submitter ran the red light before T-boning a crossing SUV. Our submitter stopped and got contact information for the victim and the responding officer so he could send them his dashcam footage. He told us he would have given it to the lady in the car too, but her car was stuck in the road and she wouldn't get out, so he chose not to stand in the middle of the road to talk to her. Nikita was driving down a California highway when the car in front of her suddenly ran over something in the road. Nikita thinks the item was a box spring, and later on we can spot a mattress in the road, so she may be right. What do you think it was? She also told us she didn't notice the debris stuck to the front of the other car until she watched her dashcam footage later. Thankfully, the damage to her own car was minimal. She told us she's glad she bought the dashcam we recommend just a month before this happened. If you need a dashcam, check out the link in the description. Franklin sent us this video from when his wife was driving. When the RAV4 ahead of her inched forward, the driver of the Chevy sedan next to it wasn't paying attention and thought the light had turned green. Franklin's wife said everyone looked to be okay after the collision, and they were out and walking around before she left. Franklin and his wife enjoy Wham Bam Dashcam, Tesla Cam, and Security Cam. He told us that shouting her out would embarrass her, so don't worry, Stacy, we wouldn't do that. Alejandro was driving down a Missouri highway one evening when the car in front of him came to a screeching halt. A trailer filled with tree branches and trash was blocking the passing lane, and Alejandro is thankful he didn't hit it. He pointed out that the SUV stopped on the shoulder looked like it had collided with the trailer. Alejandro told us he got a dashcam after getting hooked on Wham Bam videos, and has had it for about 6 months now. He said it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Jack was on his way home from a friend's house when he drove through a construction zone and narrowly missed colliding with an SUV. At first, Jack thought they'd made contact, and both drivers stopped to check for damage. Finding none, they both continued, but the SUV driver wasn't done with their creative driving. The SUV driver then drove straight from a turn-only lane before driving down a striped area, finally turning left to enter a gas station. I'm guessing they weren't stopping for a drink. John was also driving through a construction area where the entire left lane was being closed off by pylons. He watched another driver wait too long to merge before hitting several of them, damaging her car. The impacts flattened a few pylons and destroyed the car's side view mirror, but the driver just kept going. Maybe she figured she didn't need that mirror anyway. Chris had left his Toyota 4Runner parked in Daytona Beach when his dashcam captured the SpaceX Crew 6 Dragon capsule re-entering Earth's atmosphere after spending 6 months docked with the International Space Station. Chris told us sonic booms could be heard moments after this video was captured, and the capsule safely splashed down a few minutes later. He wanted us to shout out his girlfriend Carly, who we're guessing is out of this world. George was driving down a Florida highway when he witnessed a strange collision occur. Keep your eye on the white SUV on the right because this one happens fast. The white SUV rear-ended a silver car that was slowing down after the driver noticed multiple vehicles stopped on the shoulder. My guess is that the SUV driver was also watching the stopped traffic, but not the car in front of him. The impact ripped a wheel off the SUV, sending it grinding to a halt. George told us he'd be sending a copy of his footage to the Florida Highway Patrol. John was driving to work when a Hyundai Elantra with a temporary plate suddenly shot past him after exiting the highway. Instead of slowing down and safely merging behind John's Jetta, the reckless Hyundai driver nearly clipped it when he sped up to get in front of him. John told us he honked, but I'm guessing the Hyundai driver was too important to care. He told us our videos inspired him to get the dashcam we recommend, and he loves every episode. Thanks, John! Scott watched a car suddenly accelerate into the back of a pickup truck. Scott stopped to make sure everyone was okay and give a copy of his footage to the pickup driver. My theory is that the sedan driver wasn't paying attention and thought the light had turned green when the pickup moved. By the time they looked up and saw the pickup was still there, it was too late for them to stop. If my theory is correct, this is a perfect example of why you shouldn't drive distracted even when you're waiting at a red light. Akash, not to be confused with our frequent submitter Akash from Texas, spotted today's Tesla behaving badly while he was waiting patiently at a red light.
That Tesla man can't drive. That Tesla man can't drive. That Tesla man can't drive.
Yep, that Model 3 driver used an empty turn lane to go around Akash, then hung out in the intersection until the light turned green. Akash told us he was dumbfounded to see a Tesla driver acting so stupidly. Lest you accuse Akash of being a Tesla hater, he told us he actually drives a Model Y now. This video was captured a couple of years ago in his Acura MDX. This submitter was leaving a shopping mall and was about to exit the parking lot when he stopped for a pedestrian in the crosswalk, but the driver of a Mercedes SUV behind him just kept rolling. After the Mercedes struck our submitter's Honda Accord, the driver quickly reversed without looking, nearly backing into a Hyundai driver before they had a chance to swerve around her. Both drivers exchanged information. At first, the Mercedes driver told our submitter she'd cover the repairs out of her own pocket, but she changed her mind when he got an estimate to replace the rear bumper cover. Her insurance provider ended up paying the repair bill. Our submitter never told us how much it was, but we have to assume it was pretty expensive, even though the damage doesn't look too bad. Kevin threaded the needle between two drivers who pulled out onto the highway in front of him. Kevin told us he was obeying the 60-mile-per-hour speed limit when a pickup truck and a car entered from an on-ramp before occupying both lanes while still getting up to speed. Thankfully, he narrowly avoided colliding with either of them. Sky was on her way home after shopping when she watched the driver of a Toyota RAV4 get rear-ended by a Jeep while waiting to turn into a McDonald's parking lot. Sky stopped and called 911, and first responders arrived in minutes. She checked on the drivers, and thankfully, everyone was okay. She sent the victim a copy of her dashcam video, and she told us the Jeep had to be towed away. Sky also asked for a shout out for her boyfriend Cairo, and she told us they love watching our videos together. Peyton spotted this driver who really wanted to make it through the yellow light. Based on our analysis, not only did the SUV get some air and lose some sparks, the driver was definitely exceeding the 35-mile-per-hour speed limit and didn't even make it into the intersection before the light turned red. Kyle watched two Hondas make contact when one turned into the road without checking for traffic and sideswiped the other. Kyle told us neither driver appeared to stop, so he thinks they might have not known they'd made contact, as everyone continued on with their day. And yes, that's a Honda, not a Prius. Don't at me, bro. Watch what happened while Ashton was on her way to work. Without warning, a pedestrian on the side of the highway stepped out in front of her Honda Civic. She has no idea why he did this, but thankfully she was able to swerve around him before alerting the police to the situation. Lev is a soldier who was on his way home from base and was very tired. After finally getting home, he heard a loud bang as he parallel parked and thought he'd accidentally hit another vehicle. Thankfully, for Lev at least, the sound had actually been from two other cars colliding. Lev offered the drivers his dashcam footage, and he told us that the victim accepted it, but the other driver wasn't interested. Gee, I wonder why. He also told us that the white Nissan was barely scratched, and the red Peugeot had taken the brunt of the impact. Juan's Chevy Impala was parked at Dodger Stadium when his dashcam detected motion and began recording the epic fireworks show. While we all enjoy it together, give us something to celebrate by hitting that subscribe button. If you really want to make us excited, come join our exclusive Discord server when you support us on Patreon. The link is in the description. See you there!
Wham! Bam, we got a Patreon man. Please support the show.